let's talk a little bit about texturing steel. It's one of my favorite things to do, a great way to add interest to pieces of steel jewelry. And steel textures very much in the same way as non-ferrous metals. This is an example of the cuff that one of the class projects that I've been working on. And as you can see, I've added some texture to that using a hammer. It's just a simple texturing hammer. Here, I think I have it. I can show it to you. See, it's just really simple. You can probably see the teeth on the end of that. You have to hit it a little bit harder than you do with silver or other non-ferrous metals, but I think the textures on steel are actually a little bit crisper. One of the things I really love are these little beading, they're little beading tools, beading punches. And when you hammer them into the surface of the steel, it makes a really pretty little circle pattern. And if you repeat that across the surface, it's a really nice look. Let's see, one of my favorite things to do though is roller patterning. And one of the easiest and I think prettiest roller textures is just plain old coarse sandpaper. This is 80 grit. I wouldn't use anything too much less than 80 grit or you won't get much of an impression on steel. This is one I just rolled, and you can see it makes this really pretty kind of a grainy rough pattern, and you can roll it through several times to make it even more pronounced. Speaking of roller patterns though, one of my favorite things to do is take some wires and arrange a pattern across the metal. This is a pendant. I just don't have I do have the price tag on it. I just don't have the chain on it. But with this one, I took some steel wire and just laid it across here perpendicularly. I put some masking tape over it and I put it through the rolling mill. You can get some really pretty patterns, squiggly or whatever shape you want. That's really nice. My all-time favorite though is to use the perforated steel as a pattern in the rolling mill. Actually, this one, this is just hardware cloth. I had bought it from the hardware store for another purpose, and then I thought, hey, that would make a great rolling mill pattern. When I do that, here I'll show you with this honeycomb pattern. First of all, I don't know if you recall seeing this one, but I used perforated steel as a honeycomb pattern on that. And what I do is, let's say I wanted to put this pattern onto my steel through the rolling mill. I actually will fold up a piece of paper towel behind it. It's not so much to protect your rollers as it is to cushion the steel, and it seems to make the texture a lot deeper and more visible. So that is just a really fun way to create a texture. Your flex shaft is your friend when you want to do some textures, whether you want to use a diamond, a burr just across the surface. That'll give it a nice kind of a frosted look. But one of my favorite tools is this thing. I call it the thrasher. You can see it's got these little wires and you actually have to put it together. I think the official name of the tool is a mini mat, and I got this, I believe, at Rio. You'll see why I call it the thrasher though. You actually have to be a little careful and really watch your fingers when you're using it, because I think it would be pretty dangerous if you caught your hand in it. But you'll see why I call it the thrasher. And then it makes this really pretty kind of a, excuse me for shaking the camera, it's kind of a frosted look. It's a really pretty subtle look. You'd think it would scratch it up a lot, but it doesn't. And I just really think that's a beautiful look. So that's the thrasher. So that's just a taste of different textures that you might do. Play around with them. I've even been known to take mine out, pound it on the sidewalk outside, run my car over it. You'll get some really good organic patterns. So just have fun with it.